Did want to talk about the first cat, man, Hakeem Butler. I think his signing became like official today.
I think people are most excited about this one.
Yeah, and rightfully so, man. When you talk about the pedigree on this dude, former first-round pick with the New England Patriots, came out of Iowa State, was just with the XFL, was literally like it looked crazy watching some of his XFL tape at times, man. But he was with the St. Louis Battlehawks with AJ McCarron. Shout out to AJ, man, because AJ was definitely putting some nice passes on him. But when you talk about Hakeem, it's the reason why he was a former first-round draft pick. This is big speed with athleticism.
Yeah, I correct you on that.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I think you're thinking N'Keal Harry.
Good call. Yeah. Good call.
He was drafted fourth round with the Cardinals. We were interested in him, though.
Good call.
Like high upside guy.
Yes, did mix the name up. Good call on that. But back to that when we're talking Hakeem, though, man, big speed, though, man. Big speed. And like I said, good athleticism. I love the fact that he's not necessarily the elusive guy that's going to shake you, but he is a tough guy to tackle because once he gets that ball and he gets north and south, man, he is a big body that runs really, really hard, man. I think he has a good catch radius. I still wonder how natural of a hands catcher he is in comparison to like a George Pickens, who we could see like plucking the ball out the air. Hakeem gives me a little bit more of like
Martavis. You know what popped up on my YouTube feed actually today? Literally the title said Steeler receivers dropping Big Ben dimes. And it was like a 10-minute video. I clicked on it. Martavis showed up the most, I think, out of everyone.
I swear I'll watch him. I'm like, okay, he's not George Pickens with his hands. He's not Chase Claypool. I was like, he's Tay. This is very Tay-like with his catching, okay? So we all can remember how that was. Sometimes it was going to be awesome, elite, crazy. Other times it was going to have us like, bro, really? What's going on? That is part of the knot.
Sometimes the catch would be made and just be like, oh, it was a way simpler catch than what you made it.
It could have been way
like
easier.
Like the backflip one in
with holding
the
his
Bengals
butt.
game.
Yeah, it's like, bro, you could have just...
It was right there.
It was way simpler. It was way easier. That is definitely Hakeem. You are 100% right, man. 100% right. Jeez. But the thing I like is this, man. Watching him in the XFL, he was utilized a couple of ways. They utilized him on the outside as he was playing more of the X in the XFL, but to me, I think he's more of a Z, which is more of like what George Pickens does, the super deep vertical threat, less of standalone routing the guy up. I think he's just a guy that you want on 9s, 7s, post corners, stuff like that, where he can build up the speed. But they also utilized him in that big slot receiver role, like we use Claypool, like we've done with Pickens and even Juju at times. And I can see some of that potential there if we decide to flirt back with that. I know we've been signing guys that are more of the smaller, more traditional style slots, but if we were looking for another big body athlete, Hakeem definitely will provide some of that to us. So like I said, man, for me, I'm definitely excited about this dude because not just are you getting a guy with the athleticism, but you're getting a guy that's coming from playing competitive football right now. That XFL, man, the way Coach Tomlin talked about it as well, he was saying how he's going to utilize this as a resource, you know, not going to leave any stone unturned. Those guys are playing legit football with legit NFL coaching, whether it's guys that are former players, but guys that actually coached in the league. Hines Ward is a head coach in San Antonio. He was on the Jets coaching staff. We've seen that. Joey Porter, he was on the Steelers coaching staff. We could talk about all those dudes that were down there. Bob Stoops, who actually they won it all. You know, this is a former head coach at a major university that's had a ton of success. So when you look at those guys being able to play in that scenario and adapt on the fly to the short training camp, the weirdness of it at first, but then started to emerge. And this is with a guy like who? Josh Gordon's in this league. Martavis Bryant is in this league. Guys that we know, you know, big time players. But it's like for a guy like this to shine, it's like, man, it just shows that if you're really working on your craft and you're competitive and you're able to produce, man, they'll come and find you. And I feel like he's one of those prime dudes for that, man. But like I said, just him coming out of that XFL where you're watching him play real football and it's not the speculation of can he do this. We actually saw him do some of that. To me, man, that had me really excited about this cat.
And he was the best receiver in the league.
No, like legit, yeah.
Yeah, 600 yards and 8 touchdowns in only, what was it, 8 games?
8 games, yeah.
Something like that. So he's probably just going to compete with Miles
Miles
Boykin.
Boykin. Yep.
Miles Boykin and those other guys that are vying for the 5th or 6th spot.
You know what's going to be the deciding factor, though?
The special teams.
That's where Miles still feels
See what
good.
Butler got.
That's what we'll see, though, man. Because for Butler, his build, you know he can work out on offense. But like we talked about, you're not starting over George Pickens. You're not starting over Deontay Johnson right now. You're not starting over, Allen Robinson or Calvin Austin right now. You're going to get a chance to compete for it. But as it sits, you're number 5, number 6, potentially number 7. It's like, how do you stay around? What do you do to buy you time before you get a chance to show what you could do on offense? Special teams where it's going to come for him, man.
I love this dude's story, so I'll definitely be interested to see how it plays out because he wasn't even supposed to be in the XFL.
Correct.
He texted the coach of the Battlehawks after he didn't even get drafted.
Yep.
So that's another thing I like. You talk about him just playing recently, but this dude's like on his last leg in terms of professional football. I'm sure he's going to be really hungry, almost like Arthur Maulet's story. But this guy actually has talent. They got him drafted in the league in the 4th round.
Yeah. Because it's big speed, bro. You've seen it. I mean, he has one play in that XFL. He catches it across the middle. He turns up, and it's like, oh, it's a foot race. And he literally put them dudes, on hamstring alert. I was like, oh, okay, you got that in you? I like that. But, yeah, man, it was really good to see that. So I definitely like the Hakeem Butler signing.